Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is: have Black men been offering Black women breadcrumbs with a take it or leave it mentality? So I want to first start off by giving a shout out to every Black man that this does not apply to. They do try to help their communities by being positive examples to other young Black men and trying to do what is best for Black women and children. Okay, so that's one aspect to look at. And then there's the Black man, once again, that says, hey, this doesn't apply to me. And like I said, that is wonderful. And, not only I, but other Black women are very grateful that other Black men are trying to be positive. But that's why it's also important to get the message across so that Black men will have better relationships with their own brethren, Black women, will have better relationships with other Black sisters, and Black women and men will have better relationships with each other so that we can produce stronger and healthier Black children for the future. Because let's face it, we're not going to live forever, and we've got to do something that they said was impossible for the African American man and woman to do, which was to produce healthy children and to create a healthy lineage for ourselves when we are gone. So let me jump into what I, started out by talking about our topic. I wanted to first start off by saying that not all, but many Black men are quick to compare us with non Black women, often stating that Black women's expectations are too high. Okay? When in many cases, the reality is that the Black woman's basic needs aren't being met within a relationship. Okay? Has the Black man given very little? So the Black man has given very little emotionally or integrity wise while blaming the multitude of Black women. So that's basically a question. Has the Black man given very little emotionally or integrity wise while blaming the multitudes of Black women for the breakups and, single parent homes? Okay, for starters, instead of solely trying to figure out how to bed your woman of interest. Okay, so I'm going to start describing pointers that can help Black men get along better with Black women or to understand them better. Okay, so instead of trying to figure out how to sleep with her, that's the nature of a man. The end result is pretty much the sexual pleasure given by a woman, and that's understandable, but that shouldn't be the sole purpose though. Okay, the next thing is you should have a detailed list of expectations. So instead of just like, hey, I can't wait to get her in bed, what is your purpose for dating? Okay. And when you are dating, do you have a detailed list of expectations? Because I find with a lot of Black men, they are voicing complaints that Black women, they're all over the place. They don't know whether to be a man, they don't know whether to be a woman. And I think some of that wishy washy has to do with Black men, a lot of Black men not stating exactly what they're looking for. Okay, so let me continue. So often, young Black men will describe having interest in a woman, but will often say, we will just see how things go. I know you've heard that as a woman, if you're listening, as a brother, you've heard other brothers say it, or maybe you've said it yourself, we'll just see how things go. Women need security in knowing, especially after a certain period of time. Okay, so it's a cool if you're just dating the first few dates. There's nothing set in stone. There's no type of what's the word, obligation. But once it starts to go further into the relationship, though, we will see how things go is just not acceptable, especially in a woman's eyes. And like I said, women, we need security and knowing. Okay, we're wired differently than men. Okay, we need to know certain things, especially like I said, after a certain period of time. Black women are often accused of being desperate for asking legit questions. Okay, like where is this going? Where is this relationship going? Okay, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Are you looking for marriage? Is your goal for dating me something serious? Okay, they're seen as desperate when they do it. Other races of women aren't seen desperate. White women aren't seen desperate. You know, but the black woman is seen as desperate as like, how dare you, you know, insinuate that you're looking for marriage, basically, at the end result. Insecure are rushing the situation. So we're always seeing a lot of times it's insecure or rushing the situation, even after a man is pursuing sex. We're still seen as rushing the situation. Well, they're rushing it. A brother, he's rushing it, trying to have sex. Well, as a woman, trying to rush to see where this is going, and that they're not just having sex, all willy nilly for no reason. Okay. That's fine for some women, but not every woman just wants to give herself out freely, without knowing the ramifications, or the stipulations of a relationship. In actuality, if you as a man don't have a plan for a long term commitment, then it's better to stay single than to lead a perhaps eligible woman, okay, down the road to nowhere and perhaps causing mental damage. Okay, because I found with a lot of our young brothers, they have these songs out, this girl ain't loyal, I'm looking for a loyal chick, but they're not willing to do their part as men, okay? And they're looking for the most eligible women, okay? And whatever those characteristics may be, single woman, no children, education, well spoken, feminine. They're looking for these women, but they're not willing to do their due diligence as men a lot of times, and they're not ready for commitment. They don't even have a plan as to how to be committed, and they'll just say, we'll just see how things go. So that's already breadcrumbing an eligible woman right there, just to say we'll see how things go after a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of months. Okay, that's just not acceptable. It's breadcrumbing, and it leads a woman down the road to nowhere, especially an eligible woman, or a woman that a man deems eligible. I don't know what an eligible woman is, as far as what a man's looking for. I just know, what it takes to be a lady, but I don't know what a man's looking for as far as what each individual man considers eligible. Different men have different taste, basically, and it causes mental damages on the women. It causes it on women, for a guy not to have a plan. Okay. And I, encourage guys, especially before they start dating. And that's why it's so important for the black male to have a father, to be able to find this out. Find this out before he damages other women. Find out what he's looking for. So if the woman that he's dating, she may be eligible, but not the right woman for him. So just because a woman's eligible doesn't mean that that's going to be the woman that you seek to marry and have your offspring, okay? But that needs to be determined before you go around, with other women, that are looking for a serious relationship. Let me continue. Black men often state that black women are too wishy-washy or not sure what their role is as a woman, okay? And what could help with this is, for an example, if you're a dominant man, okay, you need to state that in the beginning of your relationship. So this is not just to say, hey, I'm a dominant man, but you need to state what you're looking for. Okay, you need to make it very clear. If you're a dominant man and you expect a certain type of woman, or you expect certain things, you need to be who you say you are, and say who you are. Don't try to give a woman what she wants for the purpose of sex. And I find, unfortunately, a lot of our brothers do that. They're not looking for long term. They're not looking for the mother of their child, to carry on their lineage. That's how kings think. Field hands and slave men think I'm just having a baby by the finest woman that gets me sexually aroused. But a black king thinks I need a woman who's going to be strong enough to carry on my lineage and my legit heirs and seeds. So when I die, that I have my money and whatever I have and my knowledge and skills to pass on to my legitimized children through this woman. Okay, so that's how kings are thinking about, and they're thinking long term. Okay, if you are a equal 50-50 man, okay, you need to make that known. Okay, because I think that's part of the problem. I think that, a lot of black men are not stating what they want. They're not standing their ground. They're doing it in the wrong areas, where abuse is concerned, but they're not doing it in the areas where it takes, so a woman will not be confused as to what you want. You can't be role switching. You can't be dominant in one area but wanting to be passive when it comes time to stand your ground, protect the home front, and produce and provide certain things and bills and things like that. The more dominant you are, you need to be that way 360 degrees. You don't need to be dominant and telling a woman what to do and how to do around a home, but you're real submissive and you staying at home while she goes to work all day. That's not going to work. And I find that an issue with in the African American community, that a lot of black men, they want to be dominant in the part that's fun for a man, or the pleasurable part, the ego appealing part for a man, but they're not taking on the due diligence, the duty, the commitment, the integrity part of what it takes to be that man. Okay, and they're not being understanding to women's needs, because even if you are dominant, even a dominant man knows that he cannot get across to a feminine woman in a dominant way. Put some of that aside a little bit to appeal to your woman. you know and then, like I said, if you're a 50-50 man, if you like things equal, let that be known in the very beginning of the relationship. And I think that will cut down on a lot of confusion that black men are saying they're having with the role struggle of the black woman, because the black woman, it's in her nature to want to please the black man, but the black man has to be open and honest about what he's actually looking for, and the black man must have knowledge within himself of what he's looking for, and that takes time to get to know what you're looking for, individual, whether you're a male or a female, to know what your likes and dislikes are, so that you can love yourself and in turn love someone else. So let me continue. Openly sleeping with other women without regard to the wife. Okay, so this is a touchy issue right here. As women, we never ever want to talk about this regardless of race. This is a touchy issue for women, but I'm going to be honest right here with a black man. Okay, because there's a lot of saying about white women and other races of women knowing how to handle their men's indiscretion, aka infidelity, more without putting up such a fight, getting in such an uproar and things of that nature. But we're gonna just talk about that a little bit. With the black male, there is no hierarchy with black men on who the whore and the wife is. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. With the black male, there is no hierarchy with the black men on who the whore and the wife is, and that's very important. Many times, black men find and exhibit no priority in who is who. Okay, and so with the black man being honest, saying about you know white women and non-black women, they're able to focus on what's more important. They cry and they find out that their man slept with someone else. Not all men cheat, okay, but the ones that are complaining or have voiced that they have dealt with infidelity and how they made it last within their marriages. And the white man is no different than the Latino man or the black man in this regard. One of the things is that the other men have hierarchy in who they're answering to. Okay, when they married their wife, they have more of it. I'm not saying that other races of men don't leave their wives. They don't, get confused in who is who, or don't fall in love with the mistress. But the statistics is that the black, African American race is more of a broken up family, never been married family, or dissolution family of divorce. And the reason why is because the black man gets confused about who he promised his life to, who he pledged his life to. Okay, and a lot of times there's no pledge from the beginning. So both are on the level of concubine. And what needs to happen in the black community is the black man needs to realize who he made his alliances to, and that's most of the time who you had your children with. They should get top priority. It's best not to have any infidelity, period. But I find that with the black man, like I said, he has no priority. He gets confused. He starts treating the whore like the wife. He starts treating the wife like the whore, and it just goes back and forth. And another thing that happens too, especially and that's why I want to talk and discuss with young black women the importance of what their status is before they have children, and to pick wisely. And that's the best time to have um, the highest expectations is when you have no children, because the man that you had your children with first is usually who you expect to put you on the top priority. Okay, and let me continue. Especially if children are involved. So I was just talking about that. Especially if children are involved, makes a lot of black women feel worthless for sacrificing her life to follow a man who was dishonest about putting her above all women. Okay, so that's that hierarchy I'm talking about, and which should be your wife. And that's what we need to work on as a people, is creating more marriages, causing further mental damage and resentment towards males. Okay, especially if a man did promise, a certain particular woman, and she did have good intentions and ends up getting pregnant, for this guy to be dishonest and say, hey, my bad, I've got two or three other women. And what I'm finding with the African American male is there's a male shortage. We all know there's a black male shortage, and naturally there's 10 or 11 women to one man. And what I find with a lot of black men is they're abusing their right and privilege by, this is the breadcrumb theory once again, how it comes into play. They're emotionally and psychologically abusing a lot of black women, and most men of all races know, once a woman has a baby, by you, she's more dependent, not independent, but she's more dependent on you, and I need your help. It's and more emotionally vulnerable. And I think a lot of black men are saying, hey, you got a baby by me. Hey, I've got other women, so what? I'm going to treat you like however I'm going to treat you. Either take it or leave it. You'll either be a single mother, or you're going to let me do what I want to do. I don't have to work. I'm going to have other women, but I'm not going to work. You're going to work. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And so this is this pimp ideology, and a lot of our young black brothers, instead of saying, hey, I've got what I'm doing, whatever I'm doing, but I'm also providing for my family. I'm also taking care of you. Our children don't have to go to daycare or any risk for abuse. You don't have to overstress yourself and stress causing cancer. You don't have to be overweight, because I have a home for you to create meals for us, to have healthy meals, to be able to exercise, to provide the life you want as a woman. And then me as a man, hey, we can discuss other things later, but I'm doing my part as a man. And that's what men really want. A lot of black men really want, but they're not providing the other part. And like I said, what they're doing with a lot of black women is they're saying, hey, so what? I got another woman pregnant. So what? I did this. And no, I'm not providing for the home, and I'm going to talk to you however I'm going to talk to you, and it doesn't matter, because you got my baby. And if you got my baby and you don't want to be left and don't ever want to hear from me again, I'll be gone for a few months. I don't have a hierarchy. I don't have a wife. You're not the wife. I don't have a wife. I just got a few hoes. I've got a few whores. And that's what's going on within our community that's causing the hatred. And it's causing little incentive for the black woman to stay faithful to a particular man, because the man is not having any duty and honor, a sense of duty and honor to one woman, and then having whatever he has or whatever. As a woman, I'm not condoning infidelity. Of course, I'm not down with it, but this is just the reality of what's going on in our community versus other races of men and women that seem to be able to get along. The black man is not providing the black woman what she needs. Many black men who have the mindset that a man will be a man aren't providing as they should, meaning at least providing financially for his wife and children. The breadcrumb mentality comes when or if a black woman confronts a black man on his promises and he states to take it or leave it. So she starts to remind the black man of the promises that he may have made her. And he says, well, oh, well, I'm tired of that nagging, which may be legit concerns. And, as a man, which when we talk about other races of men, they have studied women. So this is not just, like I said, studying their body parts, studying, women sexually, but studying your particular and not just generalizing women. A lot of men don't want to be generalized, but if you're going to date a woman, you're going to be with a woman, you're going to marry a woman, you need to know who and what she is. And the same should be going on with the man as well. She should be knowing what her man likes as well. But men often complain that they don't like a mother type of woman. They don't want a woman schooling them, scolding them, constantly reminding them like they're boys. Well, other races of men know, all due respect, that if you don't want, like I said, if you don't want her mouth open, you need to already have things laid out before she can, say anything, very much. When you are away for extended periods of time, so this is another point, when you are away for extended periods of time, whether there was an argument, whether you're on a business trip, whatever, not checking on your wife, okay? Not taking a relationship seriously. That's another thing. And playing too much in general. Our black men, our young black men, they play too much. All due respect, they play too much. They play too much in the street. They're not serious. And I'm not talking about serious and killing another black man. I'm not talking about serious and doing jail time. I'm not talking about serious and committing crimes and beating on women. I'm not talking about serious like that. I'm talking about a serious man with his shoulders back who has a plan, who can man the house, who can man the ship. A lot of our black men, they play too much. They don't have a plan. You can't get a straight answer out of them. You know, it's one thing to crack jokes and to make a woman laugh or make people laugh, but the black man must practice at being serious. It's not in a woman's nature to trust a man who cannot be serious. Serious as to say what he means and providing evidence as to what he says and being serious about his commitment to his children. Breadcrumbing black women to be in love for her only to find out that the end result was for her to be a caretaker of a random guy's kids. Okay, so that's going on a lot because, if the black man wants to be honest to himself, as the black woman must be honest to herself, that's the only way we're going to get somewhere as people is, a lot of times, the black woman sometimes is breadcrumbed into believing that there's going to be a serious relationship, future faking where there isn't one, only to, be a mother to the man's child, to be the caretaker of the children with him being a part-time father or a non-existent father. Let me continue. Failing to rectify issues in the home, then you complain about nagging, which leads to procrastination a lot of times, and that kind of goes into what I said earlier, a lot of men, regardless of race, it's not in a man's nature to really want to listen to too much complaining. And if that's the case, things need to be settled when you see there's a problem and not just ignore it. It's in a woman's nature to feel unguarded if there is a point or place in the fortress of vulnerability, okay? So it's in our place to say, hey, something doesn't look right. It's like a queen, something doesn't look right in our fortress, like there's an open space, let me continue. Heartlessly leaving a woman in predicaments that strip away her femininity and force her to become masculine. I'm going to repeat that again. Heartlessly leaving a woman in predicaments that strip away her femininity and force her to become masculine. especially if she didn't deserve it. She didn't cheat on you. She didn't, do something that dishonored you. And these men, a lot of our brothers are leaving women in predicaments that's causing them to strip away their femininity. The black man is constantly, talking about and discussing, rightfully so, but that his masculinity is being stripped away from a lot of black women. But what we're doing, I find, in our community is we're stripping away each other's masculinity and femininity. We're doing it to ourselves. So the world tries to do it to us, but now we're doing it amongst each other. The black woman stripping away at the black man's masculinity, and the black man is so concerned about his own masculinity that he's stripping away his own woman's femininity by making her work excessive hours, by leaving her a single mother, not caring for his children, creating children all around the communities that he has no plans of giving time or attention or any financial substance to, causing women, all sorts of things, because, as much as we want to complain about the black woman, the black man is at the foundation. The child answers to the woman answers to the man, and the man answers to God. Okay, so with that being said, the man is responsible for his women, and it seems like as black men, they don't want to see that. Other races of men know that they're responsible for their women and children. The black man is kind of like, I don't think so, and their excuse a lot of times is a black woman doesn't want to be accounted for. She doesn't want to be accounted for, when the reality is, yes, the black woman does want to be accounted for by black men who are accountable. So let me continue. So when this happens, when, black women are heartlessly left in situations that cause them to be more masculine, okay? When this happens, it causes a woman, due to not wanting to be embarrassed or played, or her heart and soul being tampered with, it causes her to be sly as a fox by trying to stay 10 steps ahead of a man, to emulate a man. So that's what you get nowadays, when women are heartlessly left in these type of predicaments that cause them to be masculine, working extra hours, not having to turn off her maternal instinct to drop her children off anywhere to work 50, 60 hours a week. When they're doing this, for the next man, they're like, I'm not going to get played like that. I'm going to think like a man in a way that's not positive for women. And this is just reality, guys. I'm not here to bash black men, but I'm here to bring awareness, so that we can, like I said, do better, amongst ourselves. But this is what's happening. So you have a lot of masculine acting black women because, they've been hurt, and they're saying, I'm not going to get played like that. So, yeah, he had another woman. I already knew that, but he left and played me for this other woman. So now I'm going to make sure that I have another man. So he didn't take care of the home. He didn't make good on his promises as far as making sure me and the children had food and a shelter, which is the basic promise of a man. Okay, because a man's not perfect and neither is a woman, but he left and played me and spent all his money on the next woman and left me and the children destitute. So this causes a lot of women to say, I'm going to play men. And, so if I find out that he has another woman, oh, well, I have another man. I'm already 10 steps ahead. So this is creating a volatile situation within the black community because, black women, it takes femininity and vulnerability to trust a man that you're going to have his children and he's going to be okay and keep you okay as a woman. So that's what's going on. To be hyper vigilant. So it causes women to be hyper vigilant about the possibility of infidelity or abandonment. And, that's why a lot of black men are saying, like, hey, black women are, they're always talking about a man cheating, or they're so insecure about abandonment. This goes from, the black man heartlessly leaving a black woman in predicaments. Like I said, that strips away her femininity. It causes her to be hypervigilant, at infidelity and abandonment. And I think that a lot of women, and I think the black woman could heal a lot of times from infidelity, but it's like I said, it's not having the priority of who's more important, the whore or the wife. And I think a lot of, like I said, black men get that confused. Because of past incidents, she will attempt to make moves to leave or cheat beforehand. So we got that going on a lot in our community. So lastly, I'd like to talk about, so what would be considered a full loaf? Because we've already just talked about and discussed the breadcrumbs, okay, that the black man has been giving the black woman. So let's talk about what is considered a full loaf. Number one is duty. It's the duty to serve, to protect, and guide and provide. So that's part of the full loaf. Honor. The honor in knowing when you grow old or die as a man that you did your due diligence to God, yourself, your wife, and your children, that you never walked away. And that's what a lot of our young black men are missing, is the honor part. So when you die in your grave, that you didn't leave a lot of women mentally damaged. You didn't leave a lot of children without a father. You didn't have 10 or 15 kids by multiple women versus 10 or 15 kids with one woman. Okay. So this is what's missing, that you didn't walk away. You didn't leave that home, that you didn't become a part-time father. Okay. Integrity. Okay. So this is another part of the full loaf. Integrity. Even when you thought no one was looking, you still tried your very best. Okay, that's all the black woman is looking for. She's not looking for much. Commitment. Okay, the commitment to stand the test of time, the strength to carry on even when you feel like you don't want to. So even when you feel like you want to walk away, she's crazy. This woman is crazy that you married, but you didn't leave. You stood there at least until the children were grown and didn't leave her destitute, because it damages our children. It damages them greatly. It damages the black woman, which in retrospect ends up damaging the black male. That pretty much wraps up this segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. If you'd like to get in contact with me, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.